Men as leaders of the family. Welcome to the Men of Honor Development Series Away Day. Today we explore one of the most important and challenging roles a man can embrace, being the leader of his family. Our focus is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 through to chapter 6, verse 4. This is not just a passage about rules. It is an invitation into a way of life that reflects the character of Christ himself. The objective of the Men of Honor series is to build men who are honorable, whose wives and family are proud, have as their leader. Men who understand their God-given role, who can identify their strengths and areas of development, and who refuse to lead from insecurity in their home, their churches, their workplaces, and their communities. The qualities we are building towards are reliability, responsibility, faithfulness, and integrity. These are not just words. They are a standard, a call. And today we begin to answer it. Let us start with a reflective question. What kind of man must you be for your wife to genuinely want to follow your lead? This is not a question about authority or power. It is a question about character. The kind of headship Paul describes in Ephesians is not demanded. It is earned. It flows from love, from sacrifice, and from a deep commitment to the flourishing of those in your care. We live in a culture that is deeply suspicious of male headship, and honestly, much of that suspicion is understandable given how headship has been misused and distorted. But Paul's instruction is not shaped by our culture. It is shaped by Scripture. As he writes in 1 Corinthians, we are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Our model is not what the world has made of male leadership. Our model is Christ. So let us be clear about what headship is not. Headship is not dominance. It is not control. It is not making all the decisions without listening. It is not treating your wife as inferior. It is not using your position to serve yourself. Every distortion of headship that has caused pain and harm has come from men who confused leadership with lordship. That is not the biblical model. What then is headship? Paul begins in Ephesians 5 verse 21 with these words. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Headship is not a privilege. It is a requirement rooted in mutual submission. The husband is called to be the head of his wife as Christ is the head of the church. This is not about rights. It is about responsibility. You are called to lead, not because you deserve it, but because someone has to, and God has called you to step up. The first and most fundamental expression of that leadership is sacrificial love. Paul writes, Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Did you catch that? Gave himself up. Headship costs you something. It costs you your comfort, your preferences, your agenda. A man who leads as Christ leads does not put himself first. He lays himself down. What does that sacrifice look like in daily life? It might cost you your time, choosing presence over convenience. It may cost you your pride, choosing to listen before you speak. It may cost you your leisure, prioritizing her needs above your own desires. It may cost you your energy at the end of a long day, and it may cost you your independence, recognizing that you are no longer living for yourself alone. Sacrificial love is not a feeling. It is a daily decision. The second dimension of Christ-like headship is to empower and enable her. Paul writes in Ephesians 5, verses 26 to 27, that Christ gave himself to make the church holy, to present her as radiant, without stain or wrinkle. That is your calling as a husband. Your leadership should make your wife more of who God created her to be, not less. The question is not, does she submit to me? The question is she flourishing because of how I lead? Paul continues in Ephesians 5 to speak of unity, that the husband and wife are one flesh. He calls husbands to love their wives as they love their own bodies. No one hates his own body. He feeds it. He cares for it. In the same way, your wife is not separate from you. She is part of you. Her well-being is your well-being. Her growth is your growth. Her pain is your pain. This is the unity that God intends for marriage. Paul grounds this unity in Genesis. In Ephesians 5 verses 31 and 32, he writes, Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is profound. I am speaking about Christ and the church. The word is cleave, to hold fast, to be bonded completely. This is exclusive commitment. She is your priority before parents, before friends, before work, before church responsibilities. This is not selfishness. It is the order God set. Now let us pause and take stock. We have looked at headship in relation to your wife, but the passage in Ephesians does not stop there. The call to lead extends further, to your children, to your home, and to your role as a father. Headship is not just about your relationship with your wife. It is about the whole household. Ephesians 6 verse 1 calls children to obey their parents in the Lord, and verse 4 gives fathers a direct instruction. Do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Notice what Paul does not say. He does not say, delegate this to your wife. He speaks directly to fathers. You are responsible for the spiritual formation of your children. That is not optional. That is your calling. What does good fatherhood look like in practice? There are 4 key dimensions. First, be present. Your children need you there, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Second, be consistent. Your children need to know what to expect from you. Third, be nurturing. Create an environment where they feel safe to grow and to fail. And fourth, be intentional. The instruction of the Lord does not happen by accident. It requires deliberate, faithful effort day after day. A word now to the unmarried men among us. Do not tune out. Ephesians 5 is not just a marriage manual. It is a formation guide. The habits, the disciplines, the character you are building right now will determine the kind of husband and father you will become. If you are not practicing sacrificial love, self-control, and service now in your singleness, do not assume marriage will produce those qualities in you. You are being formed today for who you will be tomorrow. One of the most powerful tests of a man's character is consistency. Not who you are when people are watching, but who you are when they are not. Are you the same man at home as you are at church? Are you the same man with your family as you are with your colleagues? The man of honor does not perform for an audience. He lives with integrity across every environment, in family, in church, in work, and in community. Honor is defined by 4 qualities. Reliability, you do what you say you will do. Responsibility, you own your actions and their consequences. Faithfulness, you stay committed when it is hard. And integrity, your private life matches your public life. These are not aspirations for special occasions. They are the daily fabric of an honorable man's life. Here is a question worth sitting with. Are you the same man at home as you are everywhere else? It is easy to be patient at work and impatient at home. It is easy to be generous with strangers and withholding with your family. True leadership in the home requires wholeness, a consistency of character that your family can rely on, not just the version of you that shows up when life is easy. One of the most practical and powerful things a man can do as a leader of his family is to lead prayer. Not to ask your wife to do it, not to assume it will happen, but to personally, deliberately, regularly initiate prayer in your home. If the spiritual atmosphere of your household is cold or shallow, that is a leadership issue. Take responsibility, lead your family to the throne of God. We all have triggers, situations or words that provoke a reaction in us that we later regret. Part of mature leadership is knowing your triggers and planning your responses before the moment comes. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can plan how you will respond. Patience is not passive. It is a prepared, deliberate choice to respond with grace rather than react with flesh. A final challenge before we close. Are your actions aligned with your words? It is easy to talk about being a godly husband and father. It is harder to live it. Hypocrisy is one of the most damaging things a man can bring into his home. Your children are watching, your wife is watching, more importantly, God is watching. Let there be no gap between what you say and what you do. We close with this. Headship is not built in a moment. It is built in the small, faithful, often unseen things you do day after day. The prayer you lead on a tired Tuesday evening. The hard conversation you do not avoid. The patience you choose when everything in you wants to react. Faithfulness in small things over time. That is how men of honor are made. May God give each of us the grace to be that man.